Hey everyone, so this is our class video for my John Jay Intro to Guitar class for Thursday, April 2nd. So we're doing the video as mentioned on Thursday this week due to there being a couple days off for what they call a recalibration period. So I'm sure you all heard. So Monday through Wednesday we're just designed as essentially a catch-up time for anybody getting accustomed to the new online format. So for us that meant a couple extra days to catch up and work on the same material we've been covering for looking ahead to the midterm. So I hope everybody is safely at home unless absolutely necessary, during this difficult time. Really important. So so stay home, right? Unless you're heading out for essential work or to the grocery store or anything like that. Other than that, stay put at home, right? So really important, even if you're feeling young and healthy and indestructible, remember really it's all about protecting the elders, right, in our families and in our communities who are much more vulnerable to this. So, and of course, if you have any symptoms at all, you must stay home for 14 days and not go anywhere. All right, so hang in there. We'll make it through this. But the first thing we're going to talk about today before we get to playing is we've got our midterm on Monday. So kind of today is going to be a walkthrough and a review, so you guys know exactly what you're doing for the midterm on Monday, which we've mentioned already. So for the midterm, what you guys are going to be doing, it's all playing, right? So remember that was the good news. So there's no written format for the midterm. So that should make life much easier for most all of us to just be able to just solely focus on the playing. That's what my focus is going to be on here for the duration of this distance learning format. So for Monday, what you'll need to take a cell phone video of your playing, right? So you will need just a cell phone video is fine, and make sure the video that I can see your face somewhat. I know it's you, and your hands as best you can. It doesn't have to be a professional, or even a tripod or anything, but balance the camera on something, on some books in such a way that I can see your face and see your hands as much as possible. And then you're going to play through in one video, right? You're not doing individual videos for everything on the thing. In one take all the way through the video, you're going to play C major scale, A natural minor scale, and then from the book, exercise 11, exercise 12, and exercise 13, you can pick two of those to play for the midterm from the book. So 2 out of 3 of exercise 11, exercise 12, exercise 13. So those are the ones from the book, from the Node book, and then you're going to do the chords on Knocking on Heaven's Door, right? Which should have the correct strum rhythm pattern that we've been talking about. So looking for some evidence that you've been practicing those chords, and that you can now get through the rhythm that we've been learning, which we'll go through again today. So that's everything that's going to be on the midterm. So you need to take a video of yourself playing straight through all that stuff as best you can. You can do a number of tries, right? If you think you could do it better, do another video, until you're happy with it. But it needs to be a single video. Make sure I can see, your face and your hands as much as possible. All right. So do the best you can. Practice as much as you can in the meantime, and then just do the best you can, right? And then I'm going to show you exactly how to upload it, right? So you've taken the video. It's on your phone. Really, all anybody needs for this class going forward is a smartphone, right? That's the only. Anything we do on here, you can access that as long as you have an internet connection, right? So you'll have the video on your phone, and then you're going to post it to Blackboard. All right, so you're going to go into your Blackboard. I'm actually going to walk up and show you exactly where you can find this so that there's no confusion at all. Hopefully you can see that somewhat. But over here on the left, you're going to go to discussion board. All right, that's out of the menu here on the left. You open up the class, you log into Blackboard. This is the menu here on the left. And then down here, discussion board. You're going to click on that, and then this will pop up here. And you're going to click on midterm, right? This is, and so if you just click on that, midterm, and then you'll see up here in the left, create thread. That's what you're going to need to click on. Create thread. Click on that, and then this will open up. You can put a subject in there, maybe with your name and midterm video, something like that. And then if you scroll down, this is the key part, attach a file right there. So attachments, attach a file, then you're going to browse my computer, which will probably be your phone, and then select the video and submit, or upload it and then submit. All right, so that's exactly how you're going to upload your video for the midterm. So again, one more time, over here under discussion board, click on that. Hopefully you can see this. And then midterm, down here, open that up. And then create thread, upper left. All right, give it a little title there, and then scrolling down to attachments, attach a file, and that's browse my computer. That's where you'll upload the video, and then when you're done, submit. So if you have any questions about that, email me. If you have any trouble uploading your video, let me know, and we'll figure out another way that you can get it to me. But that's how you should be submitting the videos on Monday. So those will be due on Monday. All right, so that's our midterm date, April 6th. All right, so hopefully that was clear and you could see that, but that was walking through exactly how to do it, so there's absolutely no confusion. All of that you could do just with a smartphone, right? Just got to be able to log into Blackboard and be able to take a video on your phone. All right, so do email me if you have any questions about that at all, or any problems uploading, email me. All right, so we're going to do a review today of what you guys will be playing, right? So we're just going to go through our the things we just mentioned, which we've been playing for the last couple weeks, really. But we're going to do one more review and hopefully get these songs, exercises up to the tempos that ideally you could be at for Monday. So let's go through our scales first. So that was the scale handout, which is also on Blackboard under course materials. You'll find this handout here with our scales, C major and A natural minor. So let's go through these again. C major scale, slowly here once, 3, 4. C major scale. One more time, a little faster. 3, 4. So if you're doing those from memory, it's certainly okay to look at the left hand. Anything we play from memory, it's okay to look at the left hand. And then a good tempo, ideal for Monday, doesn't have to be fast. You know, we're not shredding in here or anything, but just something like this would be good. But it's in a, whatever tempo it is, it's in a steady, even tempo up and down. That's the most important thing. It's not choppy, kind of stopping and starting. Ideally, it's in whatever tempo you're playing, it's up and down, it's even all the way up to, and then equally solid on the way back down, descending. But the scales need to be ascending and descending, so be sure you play them both up and down. So this would be a good tempo. Let's see. Dun, 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 3, 4. So that's the C major scale. That's the first thing you'll put on there. And then A natural minor scale. So we had a couple notes that were additions that we haven't gotten to in the book yet. So to recap one more time, this low A, actually this one is in the book. 5th string open. So we should know these by now, but I'll just talk us through it one more time. A, 5th string open. And this was a new one on this scale that the book has not gotten to yet, but which is coming shortly. That's the B on the space below that first ledger line, and that's the 2nd fret. B. And then the C we just did from the C major scale, right? 1 ledger line, that's our C. And then to recap, this high A up here is on the ledger line above the staff. So we can have ledger lines above the staff and below the staff that extend the range of notes that we can play on the instrument, both above and below. So this is the highest note we're going to learn for this class is this A right here on the 5th fret. 1st string, 5th fret. All right, and you want to make sure to do that with the 4th finger. So there's a slight shift to reach that with the 4th finger and then right back down. So let's try this. This one is 2 octaves. A natural minor scale. 2, do it slow. 3, 4. So let's use our thumb on these. Switch to fingers. Up to the A, shift, back down. So keep it in a steady rhythm. I'd much rather hear these at a slow tempo like that, but in a steady rhythm than, you know, stopping and starting. That's not what we're after. You're after a nice even playing. That goes for the songs too. So you've heard me say that many times, but I'd rather hear it slow and in a good rhythm than up to speed and really stopping and starting and choppy. So now a little faster, A natural minor scale. 3, 4. Up to A. Down. Back to thumb. And eventually, if you can play these faster, it's okay to do all index middle. even on the low strings. When we do scales in classical guitar, a lot of times it's index, middle, even down on these bass strings. All right, but for now, to keep it consistent, if this is new for you with using the fingers, abide by our general rule: thumb on 6th, 5th, and 4th strings, and index, middle on 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. We don't really get into the A finger much in this course, but eventually you would be using the A finger not as often as index, middle, but we do get the ring finger into the act as well in classical guitar, more especially on arpeggios and things with wider chords and arpeggios and things that we want to play. So those are, and then let's say a good tempo for that one for Monday. Doesn't have to be fast, but something like this. 3, 4. Quality, right? That sad kind of minor sound for the scale as well. Incidentally, the note that determines whether it's major and minor, going back to when I talked about chords, we remember is the 3rd of the chord. So the root, 3rd, and 5th was our formula for chords. Remember when we talked about chords? So root, 3rd, 5th is the formula for any major or minor chord. And then they're stacked and inverted in different ways. And when we talk about scales, the 3rd is also the scale degree that determines whether it's major and minor. So in this major scale we did, root, 2nd, 3rd, the 3rd note of the scale is the one that determines whether it's major, right? If we lowered the 3rd by half step, now it's minor. So it's just that lowering the 3rd a half step now makes it a minor scale, just like it does a minor chord. All right, and so that's the first thing you're going to do in the video, is those 2 scales, up and down. I forgot to mention at the beginning today to also do the attendance for this class video, just like we've been doing. So most people have been doing a good job with that, but do be sure to send me an email for any class video that we have in class, including this one, just a short 2-sentence email saying I watched the videos, plural. Usually there's 2 videos, part 1 and part 2. I was very pleased to see that after my imploring you to watch part 2 that many more people did make it through both videos last time. So that's essential, right? That today might be slightly shorter since we're really just doing a review. It might fit into one video. We'll see, but ordinarily the videos will be 1 hour and 15 minutes like a regular class. Very important you watch part 1 and part 2, right? That's the equivalent of staying in your seat through the entire class at John Jay and not getting up, and walking out when you get bored with 20 minutes left, right? So you got to watch both parts, but I was very pleased to see that most everybody did that on the last set. But do send that email, 2 sentences saying you watched the videos with a date, and mention one thing that I covered in that video. So do that for this video today as well. And I will mark you present. And it's certainly good to just hear your, get those emails from you so I know you're out there, you're getting the videos, I know you guys are okay. So definitely continue to do that. That's how we're going to do attendance for the rest of the semester. All right, and then you're going to go into the book here. So let's go to our node book, and we'll do exercise 11 here in the book. So this one, all thumb. So I had some people ask me about the right hand fingers to use. Remember that the right hand fingering is also part of the notation in this style. So generally right above, let's see if you can see this on number 13, above the melody. Not really. Let's see, number 13, you can see it much more clearly above the melody, right? We have the letters above the staff, P-I-M-A, thumb, index, middle, and A finger, which we haven't done yet. So for us, our purposes, it's thumb is P, index, middle. All right, so those are going to be indicated above the music. But there's a couple exceptions here where I kind of broke the rules, what he talked about, and that's going to be on number 12, where I said when we get to, I'll explain that one. But in general, refer to the right hand fingering that's in the book. So this 111, he says, actually, he just says it right at the beginning, use the thumb throughout. So this one should be all thumb. And then we'll talk about the right hand fingering for the other two as we go. But that is, throughout this book is indicated what fingers to use with the right hand. So now we're getting the thumb into the act. Remember that P stands for the Spanish word for thumb. So that's why it's P. All right, and then I and M are index and middle. So here we go, number 11. Let's do this slowly again. 2, 3. Hang on a second, let me get out our metronome again. And highly urge you to practice these with the metronome if you haven't done so already. Download that free metronome app. Be a great way to practice these next few days getting ready for the midterm. So we'll start it at 35. The number is the beats per minute. So real slow first time to warm up on this one. 2, and then we'll get it up to tempo. 2, 3. And someone asked if they could use the metronome for the midterm or for any of the quizzes that we do where you are doing the videos, and that's fine with me. Yeah, if you want to use a metronome, if you think that's going to help your performance and your rhythm, I'm all for anything that's going to improve your rhythm. So that's fine for me in the midterm as well. If you want to play your video along with the metronome, just you have to make note of what your tempos are that you're going to play it at. So you can do it without kind of fumbling around with the metronome too much in the video. But if you have it set to go and you know the tempos and you want to use a metronome in your midterm video, that is totally fine with me. All right, so I'll do the accompaniment if that's super slow speed. Actually, we'll do it a little faster now. That's really slow. Now let's go up to about 45. We'll do this 3 different speeds until we get up to the desired tempo today. So I'll do the accompaniment now. This is still 11, but I'm playing the accompaniment. It sounds much more interesting. Definitely recommend you can rewind and continue to practice along with me while I play these accompaniments. Makes it much more fun to play the songs when you hear this chordal part underneath it. Really kind of brings it to life on all of these in the book. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. let's see if we can get this up to a good tempo for Monday. Would be. Ideally all the way up to about 70 or so. Try that with me at that speed. 1, 2, 3. So thinking about it now, of course, if you're using your cell phone to take the video for the midterm, you may not be able to use the metronome if your metronome is an app on the phone, right? So I guess if you're using other means to take the video, or if you're you know, have an external metronome, or you got one on somewhere else that you can use, then of course you could use it during the video. If it's on your phone, you may not be able to actually do it during the recording of the video. So that's a good tempo. That's about 70 beats per minute, and let's do the accompaniment at that speed. So this would be the goal tempo for Monday, something around this tempo, about 70 beats per minute. One more time, 11. 1, 2, 3. So 11, and then let's go to 12. Number 12, so this is the one where I differ a little bit from his indication to use all thumb. So I suggest using thumb on just the A and the E, right? Just on those 5th string and 6th string notes, and try to use index and middle on all the other notes. So that's thumb, and then fingers on those 4th string notes. Definitely makes it smoother when you try to speed it up. Thumb, index, middle, etc. Alright, so let's go down slowly on this one now, back to 35. Remember, this one starts right in with 8 notes, so make sure you have a good feel for what your quarter note is before you start, because we're starting right in the 8 notes. So here we go. I'll do the melody. Number 12. 3, 4. Alright, and then let's try that tempo. I'll do the accompaniment now. Here we go. 2, 3, number 12, 4. Bump it up to about 45. Dun, 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 3, 4. And then, let's see, I'll do the chords at that tempo. So this is 45, exercise 12 again. 3, and let me urge it, or just point out again, I'd rather hear it slow and in rhythm, right? So if you can't get up to these desired tempos for Monday, do the best you can tempo-wise, and just bear in mind it's better to do it slow and in rhythm. If that's as fast as you can do it accurately, then do that and try to get all the way through in one steady rhythm. These are the ideal tempos that we're getting up to today to shoot for if possible. So now the chords on exercise 12 with the accompaniment, 3 and 4 and. And then if you haven't already been doing so, plug in the headphones, plug in your earbuds so you can hear the accompaniment much better. Don't just do it with the phone speaker, all right? So that's not going to sound very good at all. So plug in, take a second to plug in your earbuds or headphones anytime you're doing these lessons, right? So you can hear the sound of my guitar and the accompaniment much better. It'll be much more fun to play these when it sounds good. So now getting up to a desired tempo for this one. About 60. Could be a little faster than this, but this would be good for Monday. 2, 3, 4. Through in that rhythm at that tempo, I'm happy. All right, could be a little faster actually. those ambitious out there who are feeling pretty comfortable with this, you can try 70. That really sounds better than when we speed it up on this one. 2 and 3, 4. Let's try that tempo. I'll do the chorus again. 3, 4. Quite a short tune when we play it that fast, so it should be pretty relatively short video to get all the stuff that we're playing in one video. When we get to the Knock on Heaven's Door, you don't have to play it for the length of the entire song, let's say 2 times through. When you get to the chords on Knocking on Heaven's Door, at least 2 with 1 repeat, so you play through the whole chord progression twice. But you don't need to play a 3-minute song for the midterm. All right, so that would be a great tempo for Monday for that one. If you can get up to 70 on number 12, and we can all hear, as I mentioned, that Spanish flamenco sound, especially on this classical guitar with the nylon strings. Do these kind of what they call a rasgado strumming pattern, which is like a flicking motion for the strums that they do. So I'm doing a little bit about that. I'm not really a flamenco player. I'm a classical guitar player, and as well as playing jazz and other styles of music, bluegrass and blues. But that's what they would we hear a lot in that flamenco style, is that kind of rasgueado strumming pattern, which is totally different than what we do with the pick. It's the back of the nails, and they do a kind of a flicking motion that really fast. But this is a very Spanish-sounding flamenco, nice little exercise there, number 12. And then on to 13, right? So if you could pick, as I mentioned, 2 out of 3 of these for the midterm, 11, 12, and 13. You don't need to do all 3. So let's go to 13 now. I would say pick the ones you like the best. That would be the ideal situation. So musically, probably 12 and 13 are the more interesting. So if you're feeling comfortable, you've been playing guitar, and this is feeling good for you, do 12 and 13. Because both of these musically are quite satisfying, I think. 13 in particular is really a masterpiece, the original piece of music from which this little arrangement came from. All right, so this is J.S. Bach, great German composer. As I'll say again, one of the most revered and influential composers, musicians who ever lived, 1685 to 1750, Johann Sebastian Bach. So this is an arrangement for a guitar that was originally a choral piece in a chorale. So let's play this again, 13. And let's get our metronome on this one slowly at first. Back to 35, which I find to be a pretty good quarter note tempo to first read through these. Ideally, you could just kind of sight read it at 35 the first week of playing it, first couple days of playing it, and then speeding it up from there. So let's go back to warm it up at 35, and then we'll get it up to tempo. So we didn't talk about the keys yet, but we got a nice thing about these 3 pieces. We're actually 3 different keys, which is definitely refreshing for the ear when everything isn't just in the same key all day long, right? So if we were hearing an actual concert of music, or a recording, a CD of somebody's playing, musicians like to mix up the keys. It adds more variety. It's just pleasing to the ear to have contrasting keys, kind of alternating in the different songs. So we don't just play in one key all the time, right? So the key, again, is the tonal center around which the melody and the chords are centered around. So in this case, it's C major. And in that last one we did very much A minor. And in that first one, in exercise 11, it's D minor. So that's nice. In these three exercises, we actually have three different chords, and then Knocking on Heaven's Door is in the key of G major. So we got four different keys that we've learned so far to play in. All right, so here we go. Exercise 11. And the key, by the way, is not necessarily the first note in the melody, isn't how you really determine the key. In this case, the first note is actually an E, but we're in the key of C major, so the E is actually the third of the chord. A good giveaway for if you're trying to figure out what key a piece is in, we have the key signatures, which we haven't learned yet in this class, which is the written right at the beginning of a piece, right after the time signature. The key signature would be if there's any sharps or flats written right in there, which we haven't gotten to. So if there's no sharps and flats like in this one, that's generally the key of C major or its relative minor, A minor. But a good kind of hint at what the key is also if you look at the bass note, the bottom note in the last chord, which is what I'm playing. If you look at the second part, the bottom note, at the very ending, you see that that's a C, this note here, so resolving to C. And if we look at the bass note, that is the lowest note in my part, of the beginning chord too, that's a C as well. So we see that the lowest note in the first chord and the last chord is a C, so that's a good indication that it's in the key of C major if there's no sharps and flats. So that actually would mean it is in the key of C major, right? And then the ear also reveals the key as well once we hear it a couple times. Or hear just even a little bit of it. So this one's in the key of C major. Here we go, 35. This is exercise 13. Come in with a pickup on beat 4. So I'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. So these are thumb on the 4th string, and then up to index middle. Make sure you got those 8 notes in the rhythm. 2, 3. Same tempo, I'll play the chords. I'm coming to beat 4. 1, 2, 3. 3. Last night, dum, dum. Also really recommend the song I mentioned by Paul Simon that has the same melody as this, that he borrowed and then set some words, some really beautiful words to. It's called American Tune. If you look up Paul Simon American Tune, you'll hear this melody. It's definitely a beautiful song and very apropos to the times we're going through right now. So give that one a listen. American Tune by Paul Simon, with this melody and chords by Johann Sebastian Bach. And then let's try 45 here. We'll do 3 different tempos on this one, get it up to where it should be for Monday ideally. So here's 45. 1, 2, 3. My part is different than yours, of course. So be independent, counting. 2, 3. Trouble following your part while I play it, I'll do the melody with you one time. 2, 3. But it really does come to life when we add that accompaniment part that fills out the harmonies. So once you're feeling solid on your melody part, after playing it along with me, rewind it back to where we did the chords at that tempo. You can again, you make use of this rewind with this video format that we're using now, where you can do it as many times as you want to, go back and play it again, right? Rewind it, do it again until you're feeling solid, but make use of playing it along with me. So that's really a resource that we couldn't do necessarily in our live classroom experience, where you can go back and hear it again, hear how I explained it again, play along with me, Again, rewind it at the slower tempo. If you need to go back to earlier lessons to catch up, absolutely do that as well, to where the songs were introduced really slowly. All right, and then a good tempo to get up to on this one. That's about the actual speed. So 65. It's not a fast song. 65. Let's try that. So here's the melody at that tempo. 2, 3. 3. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2. With the chords now. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that's a good tempo for exercise 13. If you can get up to 65 beats per minute, that'd be fabulous for Monday. So you're going to play 2 out of 3 of those, plus the scales, and then you're going to go to Knocking on Heaven's Door. So let's do that now. Knocking on Heaven's Door. So we've got our strum pattern. Hopefully that's coming along nicely, and you've got the you've got that strum ingrained, right? I definitely recommend speaking it out loud. Hopefully you've been doing that. It's really how it's going to stick in your head. The strum rhythm that we learned. So this is from the handout as well. On Blackboard course materials, you will find these chords to Knocking on Heaven's Door. You can pause it right there if you need to take a quick refresher. The chords need to be memorized in order to play them in the song. So for Monday, they should definitely be memorized. There's only 3 of them in the song. It's not really possible to play any song in rhythm if you're trying to read the chord grids and decipher them in actual time. Not going to work. So you have to have the chords memorized. That's step 1. G, D. And that's just the top 4 strings. Chords. We're not strumming all 6 for all 3 chords. In fact, the G chord, all 6 strings for our strum. The D chord, only 4 strings. Top 4 strings, starting with the D, which is an open D note. That's why we're adding that to the chord, by the way. And likewise, A minor, the open 5th string is the note A, which would be the root of the chord. So don't catch the 6th string open. Kind of just muddies up the sound of the chords if you get all these low notes ringing that aren't in the chord. It's not going to sound good. So on your upstroke, that's part of what you need to be practicing, is just hitting the right strings. All right, but not the end of the world if you catch one of the strings ringing, particularly these A's, which are actually in the D chord. It fits okay, but as best you can, just be strumming the chords, the notes that are in the chord, the strings that are in the chord. But if this is totally new for you and you are hitting some extra strings, not the end of the world, but something to be aware of. And let's go through the strumming pattern. So that's the 3 chords. That's step 1, is just finding the chords by themselves, memorizing the shapes so that you can find them quick enough. Going back and forth. We did this exercise between the G and the D last time, so I definitely recommend that without even strumming, just going back and forth. As I go from the G chord to the D chord, notice my middle finger goes all the way to the first string. So you can kind of let that be your guide and let the other 2 fingers fall into place. My middle finger goes all the way from 6th string, 3rd fret, all the way to the 1st string. So just memorizing the muscle memory for that move. You can go back and forth like this. And the same thing, D and A minor. You'll do it much slower than this, but back and forth between the 2 chords. So that's step 1 is just, well, that's really step 2 is now being able to move between them quick enough that you don't have these huge pauses in the rhythm when you change chords. And then the final step is adding the right hand strum rhythm, which we've learned. So again, let's talk through the rhythm. That's down at the bottom. If the rhythm is actually written out here, half note, quarter, and 2/8 sounds like down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So say that out loud. And then let's just play that on the G chord. Say it out loud while you do this on the G chord. 3, 4. Tap your foot on the corner. Exactly what I'm saying. Alright, so if we're tapping our foot, our pick is doing exactly what our foot is doing, right? Down stroke on the down beat. That's when our foot hits the floor on the down beat. 1, 2, 3. That's the down beat. Our pick is going down, the downstroke on the downbeat. Upstroke on the upbeat, and we just had that one upbeat on the end of the strum, so it's down,